This is the kind of love that I thought only existed in fairy tales. I really didn't think it was true.
Today, Alexis Bellino returns with a cameo on The Real Housewives of Orange County, and she's going to tell us all about her return to reality.
It's everything I didn't think my life would turn out to be.
Plus, the one and only Corey Feldman takes us behind the scenes of some of his most famous films.
There was many great experiences on the set, many things that I enjoyed about it.
This is your reality check.
We're gonna make this happen.
Hey guys, happy Wednesday, or hump day as they call it. I really don't know why they call it that. Dave, any ideas? I am Lyndsey Rodrigues, your host. This is Reality Check. And of course, joining me today is People.com's Bravo expert, Dave Quinn.
Hey, hi. It's the hump in the middle of the week.
But I don't...
Like a camel.
Like a camel?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to take it from you. You're a Bravo expert and evidently...
And a hump expert, apparently. Yeah.
As well. Wow, you should get a business card with that.
Listen, I'll get it printed up as soon as we're done with this.
As soon as we're done with our top 5.
Yes.
At number 5, Dancing with the Stars alum Nick Carter is counting his blessings. The Backstreet Boys singer expressed his appreciation for his wife Lauren on Instagram while sharing the first image of their new baby girl's face. He also revealed her name, Saoirse Rain Carter. Now, baby Saoirse joins 3-year-old big brother Odin, who she also shares a middle name with. Saoirse, what a badass name,
I
right?
love that name. And I cannot believe the Backstreet Boys are having babies still.
I know, it's so weird.
For me, they will always be those young teens that I looked up to when I was a kid. So it's like crazy that the Backstreet Boys have built their own
Backstreet
band.
Bubbas.
Yeah, of babies.
I love it. Well, congrats to the happy new parents.
So happy.
At number 4, voice judge Christina Aguilera is getting emotional because she's received an award from a domestic violence shelter, and that happened last week. The 38-year-old singer was honored with the Community Hero Award from the Shade Tree, and she spoke about her own experience growing up in a home affected by violence. Speaking of her charity work, she says, "It's such a part of who I am, the music that I make, the lyrics that I write, from Fighter to Beautiful, everything." In fact, I know a lot of Stripped was actually inspired by her very tumultuous past. So what do you think of Christina being honored with this award?
Well, first of all, I am a Christina Aguilera super fan. I love her so much. Xtina, as I call her. I think that that's what's so amazing about her, is that she's so honest about the things that she has been through.
Absolutely.
And really does fuse it into her songs, like her beautiful Stripped album, as you mentioned before. It's great to see after all these years that she's still really in touch with that pain and very aware of who it's turned her into today. I just love her so much. And this post really got me.
I know, this was definitely an emotional one. Christina, we salute you. Thank
love you.
Keep doing what you're doing, baby girl. At number 3, Rihanna has confirmed the rumors that she turned down the Super Bowl halftime show. Now, in a new interview for Vogue's November cover story, the superstar confirmed the speculation, citing disagreements with the NFL and that she is standing in solidarity with Colin Kaepernick. She says, "I couldn't dare do that to my people. I just couldn't be a sellout." She went on to say, "There are things within that organization that I do not agree with at all, and I was not about to go on and be of service to them in any way." So Dave, what do you think about Rihanna's stance?
Well, I would have loved to see Rihanna do the I would love to have seen Rihanna do the Super Bowl halftime show. I love her so much, but I understand. I got to respect her for doing that. I got to respect her for standing by what she wants. Now, a lot of people think that she was now replaced by Jennifer Lopez, but this was actually way back when. So I think it was the Maroon 5 year. Last year's Super Bowl halftime show. But I hope she does it in the future. I hope things change and we get to see her on there.
I think a lot of change has to happen before we can start inviting artists who have these beliefs to come back and to participate. So let's hope for those changes regardless.
Right, but what a good halftime show would that be? Work. I'd be into it.
Yeah, I'd be into it as well. At number 2, talking of working it, Miley Cyrus has been hospitalized after revealing she was suffering from tonsillitis. Now, on Tuesday, the singer confirmed that she had been admitted to the hospital, and in a series of snaps, the star explained that she was trying to get better before this weekend's Gorillapalooza benefit concert. Now, she didn't spend her hospital stay alone, though, because she has a new beau, Cody Simpson. He's also Australian. Clearly, she has a type. He paid her a visit and serenaded her with a song that he apparently wrote in her honor. And although we only heard a snippet of the song, Miley said she's pressuring him to drop the full version next week. Now, I have so many questions. How did she move on so quickly? She just broke up from Caitlyn Carter and now she's with Cody. But also, how amazing would it be to have someone write a song for you?
I mean, that would be fantastic. And she certainly wrote a song about Liam and put that right out there.
Not a good one, though.
Well, yeah, I mean, it processed her feelings. And
Yeah.
he seems to be into her. It had this golden glow sort of thing that he said about her, that she has this thing about her that he's totally attracted to. It was very, very sweet.
It is
She
very
seems to
sweet.
be very happy.
Yeah?
Listen, she is running through these relationships, and power to her. She is young.
Why not?
She's exploring different things for her. She was with Liam for 10 years.
That's true.
So
From a very young age. I know.
gotta give her respect for going out there and figuring out what's
and
right.
Miley, thank you for appreciating the Australian community. We salute you. And at number 1, Peter Weber is doing just fine, and he is back on track on his journey to find love. The Bachelor's newest leading man is back to shooting his season with a bandage over his face. Now, this comes one day after his golf cart mishap on location in Costa Rica, and an insider tells People his injury was blown out of proportion and not nearly as bad as what was being reported. Radar Online reported that the pilot split his head open early this week on cocktail glasses and was rushed to the hospital and given 22 stitches. All right, women love scars. Do you think that if Peter does have some, remaining injuries from this, it'll just make him hotter to all of his potential wives?
Yes, that'll make him only hotter. But you have to laugh at the fact that, sources told People that he's really back on the dates, right? He's back, everything's okay.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it wasn't 22 stitches, scars, this crazy. It sounds like it was like a paper cut.
It sounds, like definitely not as
Which
bad.
is good for him.
Which is great, because we don't want him injured. But I'm also, now that I know that the filming is underway, I'm just like, I just want to know what's going on.
I know.
And
I hope we get to see it all.
Yeah.
Kind of like the jump over the wall. It's going to be like crazy.
Yes, absolutely. Needless to say, it's going to be a great season of The
I
Bachelor.
know. I'm already ready.
We just got to wait till January. It's going to be here before you know it. All right, well, look, we are going to take a very quick break, but when we come back, exciting news, because former OC housewife Alexis Bellino is calling in. She's going to be with us via Skype, so stay tuned.
There just comes a time when you realize it's time to move on.
Yeah. Hey everyone, welcome back to the show. I'm still here with my buddy Dave Quinn. He is People.com's housewife expert, and now Skyping in from Orange County is the beautiful former Real Housewife Alexis Bellino. So Alexis, how are you? Welcome.
Hi, how are you guys?
Oh, we're great. You definitely found your light, girl. You look amazing.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Short hair.
Yeah, short hair, don't care. Well, look, it was really fun to see you make a cameo on Real Housewives of Orange County last night. So tell us what inspired you to come back to the show, even just for that one scene with Emily.
Well, I love Emily, and she's a good friend. But I think that, the viewers wanted to see or hear an update from me, and I have been kind of just healing and getting through the whole divorce. So I just felt like it was time to come back out and let everybody know a little bit about the divorce and my new relationship.
Well, I want to talk all about this new relationship because you opened up about your new boyfriend, Drew. Tell us about him. Have you really never had an argument with him at all?
Well, since that taping, yes, we've had an argument. It was one, and we worked through it. Like, it was just, I've never experienced anything like this in a relationship. We're just truly he's my best friend before anything else. And I don't know, we just click on a way that I honestly thought this was only what fairy tales were about. I didn't know that you actually could find someone that's this much your soulmate. Now I think there's only one soulmate in this world for you. I don't think that you have 4. They always say you have someone, all over the world. I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know about that.
He's the one.
He's very hot. I will say that. He's very attractive.
Hey, hands off.
I'm staying away.
Dave.
I promise. I'm happy, but he's real cute. Does he have kids?
Yes, he does have 2 children.
And how have you blended your families? Because you have 3 kids, right?
Yes, and we have. And it's been what you would expect from a Brady Bunch family coming together. There's chaos, there's fun, there's laughter, there's tears, it's all of the above.
Well, you also opened up to Emily and viewers about your divorce. So why don't we revisit that scene from last night? Let's take a look.
Divorce sucks. Yeah. It's not easy. I mean, I think it's almost harder than death. It is a death, actually. The death of a 14-year marriage. I think in life, when you're with someone, there's 2 options. You can grow apart or you grow together. So we grew apart.
So you mentioned that your marriage was in a bad place before the divorce. And as you said, sometimes you grow apart, sometimes you grow together. So when did you realize that you had in fact grown apart and that it was over?
I think, to be honest, I think I tried. I thought Jim was going to be my forever. When I took those vows, I honestly didn't think divorce was going to be an option. But when it starts getting toxic enough in the relationship in between two people that it bleeds into the family, or it's just too much, I think you have to take a step back. And I mean, I had to pray for a long time about it.
Did the show have anything to do with it? Or was the show perhaps something that was a good distraction for you during that rocky time?
Well, Jim and I have two different opinions about that. For me, the show didn't tear us apart more because it actually gave me something that was my own, and it gave me a career. And I wasn't just a wife, a maid, a nurse, a mom. I was, a taxi driver. I actually had something that was for me again. But I know he feels that the show probably, brought the marriage to more of an end faster than, or just to an end.
What's your relationship with Jim like now?
Well, I'm not going to say it's always been picture perfect, because at the beginning of the divorce, it was definitely, and through the divorce process, it was definitely rocky, tumultuous, hard, so many emotions. I mean, anyone going through a divorce knows everything I'm talking about. You're crying over the loss of your family. You're crying over sharing your kids. And I was like full-time mom mode. He'd never changed a diaper or fed a kid. Like, he didn't know bath time. He didn't know any of that stuff. So it was really hard for me to give up that freedom or those reins for my family. But in the end, now coming full circle, we've been through it all. It's been a year and a half now. And, we've worked out a good friendship. And I think we'll always be friends, till the day we die, because we have 3 beautiful children together that we have to bring through this world. And the best way to do it is to be friends, right? So you've got to put all the animosity and the resentments behind you, which we're both doing, and move on. And so we got a divorce for a reason. And obviously we're better off as friends now because we're not under the same roof.
Well, now you're in this happy new relationship. Are you thinking about possibly walking down the aisle again? Would you get married again?
Until I met Drew, I said no. And I told all the guys I dated, I'm never getting married again. Not all the guys, that makes me sound like I dated a lot, but a few, the guys that I did date.
Yeah.
But then I met Drew, and yeah, it changed my world. So definitely.
All right, I can't wait.
That is so exciting to hear. We're really happy for you. Now, tell us, have you been watching this season of Real Housewives of Orange County? Because Emily and Shane's relationship has appeared quite rocky this season. I'm wondering if you see any similarities between her marriage and yours to Jim, or any red flags that she should be looking out for.
It's funny that you mentioned that, because after I have been watching, this is the first season that I've actually watched since I left the show, and it was due to the fact that I had the cameo appearance coming on. So I wanted to, I should have been supporting Emily when she first started the show, but I just don't have a lot of time for TV anyway. But I did start watching this season, and I reached out to her after the one episode. I think it was 2 episodes ago, and we met for coffee again. And I just said, girl, it's very similar, and it's scary to me, and I'm just here for you. And I just want you to do whatever you can to save your marriage, because on the other side of it, divorce isn't easy. And there's many nights I cry myself to sleep. Drew and I both still do, because we miss our kids, and neither of us would be in a divorce situation, selectively, we wouldn't have wanted to be where we are. So, I feel for her a lot. And I know that I've seen that they're doing a lot better now, just so you know, things happen, and there's definitely ups and downs in a marriage. But I just did want to reach out to her and let her know that I saw some similarities, and I was here to support her. Yeah,
she was here actually, I think it was last week or the week before, with Dave and I, and she said that the two of them were doing a lot better. So that was great to hear. Yeah. And we're curious, other than Emily, are you in touch with anyone else from the cast?
Yes, I just attended Lydia's, from this season's cast. No.
Yeah.
No.
You could do old seasons, so you still talk to Lydia.
What's that?
You could do old seasons too, so you still talk to Lydia.
Lydia. I mean, Gina, if I see Gina Q out or we're out where we still talk. I saw Lizzie at Lydia's event yesterday. We said hi. And then Lydia had the event. So who else was there? I didn't even recognize Peggy. Peggy was there. And I feel so bad right now because I would have gone up and said hi, but she cut her hair really, really short.
Oh,
and I was just like, I didn't even notice her. Peggy, not Peggy Tanous, Peggy S, the one that has the S.
Solahan, yep.
Solahan, yes. So, yeah.
I have to ask you a little bit of RHOC trivia because Tamara called you, as kind of an iconic moment, she called you Jesus Jugs. And I want to know, that was back in 2012. All these years later, how do you feel about that now? Has it been like a nickname that stuck with you?
Well, what really irks me about that, and first of all, Tamara claiming Christianity, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
But she called me Jesus, or someone called me Jesus Barbie, and that's what started the whole like Jesus having anything to do in my name. And so then on the reunion, she has to take that to a negative light and say Jesus Jugs. And yeah, I mean, I don't like it, but it is, hey, I'm owning it now because that's what I'm called and they're still here. So
I love it. I love that you've embraced that negativity and turned it into a positive.
Yeah.
All you can do, right?
Yeah.
You flipped the narrative. We love that. Well, let's also talk about another show that you're on because you're part of the new cast of Marriage Bootcamp Reality Stars Family Edition, and that premieres this Friday, October 11th on WeTV. So why don't we take a look at this clip of you and your mum?
Oh.
My mom cheated on my dad, and then she went back to college and she had a full-time job. So I became a mom at 12, and I was thrown into that role.
Okay, so my answer to that is I felt like I was a mother to my parents from the time I was about 10 or 12 years old.
Well, then that's your job to break the cycle.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, I mean, tell me about the intensity of being in a boot camp and trying to work through these issues with your parent.
I haven't seen any of the clips from boot camp yet, so it's going to be really hard to watch because those therapists really do take you and break you down to get to the true core problem and bring you back, like build you back up. So there were so many tears in that mansion when I was there. And mind you, I had just literally moved out of my house from my children and bought my own home a month before we started taping that. So I was in a really just a delicate state then, and probably shouldn't have filmed Marriage Boot Camp then, but I wanted the help because if my marriage suffered and failed, then let's fix the relationship with my mom, right? Like, let's do something positive.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was hard. It was rough, and we are a lot stronger now. We talk like so much deeper because one of my mom's issues were, I mean, I had many of my own issues, but one of hers was that she's kind of closed off and doesn't like, she doesn't want to start talking when things get rough. And I'm just a communicator. I'm like, let's just hash it out now, get it done and move on. And we close, you close it. So we're there now.
Oh, that's wonderful. So we're excited to see that play out over the course of the season of Marriage Boot Camp. But we can't thank you enough for joining us today. It was really fun to see you on Housewives last night. Make sure you can you catch Real Housewives of Orange County Tuesdays at 9, 8 Central on Bravo. And then season 13 of Marriage Boot Camp Reality Stars, that starts on Friday, 10, 9 Central on WeTV.
Thanks, Alexis.
And of course, Alexis will be there with her mom. So best of luck with everything.
Thank you, guys.
All good things for you, honey.
Thank you.
Of course. Now, on the other side of this break, you are going to see my sit down with Corey Feldman, who's also on Marriage Boot Camp, actually, this current edition with Alexis. And he took me behind the scenes of some of his most iconic 80s movies, Dave. I was freaking out.
I'm gagged. I can't wait.
You'll see for yourself. I was freaking out. Stay tuned. Hey guys, you are watching Reality Check, and with me today is the multi-talented and notoriously iconic Corey Feldman. Welcome.
Welcome, welcome.
So you are on the 13th season of Marriage Boot Camp Family Edition.
That's an unlucky number.
Oh, it is? No, you're going to change the, like the stigma about that.
Well,
It's
okay.
lucky for you.
Let's put it this way. When I did Friday the 13th, it was very unlucky for Jason.
That's true. But this will be lucky for you. Be lucky
There
for
you go. All right.
Well, look, on that subject, right? The films that you've done, it's no no secret that you have been part of so many films that have shaped the youth of entire generations, namely mine. So I really want to ask you about some of the most recognizable film roles that you've played in a segment that we like to call Behind the Scene. So what's going to happen is I'll play a scene from some of your most beloved films from the 80s, the best decade, let's be real. And I want you to tell me a story about what happened during the making of that scene. Sound good?
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, well, first
I'll
up,
do what I can.
I'm so excited about this one. Here is a scene from a 1985 flick that came with 3 rules and a slew of creepy critters. Let's look at Gremlins.
Can I hold him?
Sure. I don't see why not. He seems to like you. Great. Thanks a lot.
Sorry. What's in that jar?
Nothing, just water.
There were only 3 rules and you broke the first one.
I didn't know the rules.
That's fair.
Nobody gave them to me.
That's fair. So
there
what
you
can
go.
you tell us about working with Zach Galligan and being on
Zach
this
was
set?
great. Love Zach. Yeah. He's such a sweetheart. I mean, we're still friends today, of course.
amazing.
You know. It's funny because I'm friends with so many people that I grew up working with.
Yeah.
You know, and then you have these lifetime friendships with them.
Well, because you have, again, such a unique experience that no one else can understand.
Especially like when you work on a Spielberg film because they're like 6 months long.
Yeah.
You know, so you're like there forever. You feel like you're really living with people and getting to know them. But anyway, Zach and I, we got along great. And the experience overall was a lot of fun. I mean, being a kid and having the opportunity to work with such advanced technology and, just the puppet work, the different, mogwais that they would make. They had different forms of different ones. So there'd be like a puppet one, there'd be a motorized one, there'd be a claymation one, there'd be one that didn't move that you would just use as kind of the prop to kind of use for rehearsals and stuff. So there was just so many different variations on each different creature.
And this is 1985. I mean, this is mind-blowing.
Yeah, I mean, it was
for the
just
time.
so much, and watching all these guys, there'd be like 20 guys laying down on the floor working with these like air gadgets where they were compressing and decompressing, and that would move, the gizmo's eyeball, and then one would open his eyelid, and then the other one would move his arm, and the other one, it was just like you're watching this puppeteering that's never been created before this. It was pretty mind-blowing stuff.
What did you think of Gremlins 2?
I didn't see it.
You haven't seen it? You've got to see it, buddy. It is the best.
Sorry.
I mean, not as good as Gremlins 1 because you're not in it.
I'll be honest. I saw a couple clips on cable, and it was kind of goofy, and I was like, what is going on?
It was very different from the first, that's for sure.
I didn't understand. I was a little confused.
You got to watch it. It's the whole reason that I moved to New York, Gremlins 2.
Really? Wow. Well,
yeah,
that's interesting to know.
Gotta catch
very
it.
inspiring.
Yes.
But that said, in better news, Joe Dante and I are still friends as well.
Excellent.
And, him and I had the opportunity to work together twice more after Gremlins.
Okay.
Once was The Burbs.
Okay.
With Tom Hanks and Carrie Fisher.
Yeah.
And then the next time was Splatter, which was how about this? The first ever streaming miniseries from Netflix.
Oh, what?
Yes, they had never done a streaming series. It was an experiment. We did 3 episodes, and it was the first ever one, and it was called Splatter. And it was a Halloween special that started on Friday the 13th and went through Halloween.
So Stranger Things has a lot to thank you for.
I guess so.
Well, talking of Stranger Things, why don't we talk about another movie that had Sean Astin in it, who's also in Stranger Things. It's from 1985. Let's reminisce about an adventure film that brought us The Truffle Shuffle and One-Eyed Willy, which I still think is a very phallic name for a pirate, by the way, for a kid's film.
I didn't write it.
Let's have a look at Goonies.
President Lincoln, George Washington, Martin Sheen.
Martin Sheen, that's President Kennedy, you idiot!
Was that different? I mean, he played Kennedy once.
So, Corey, I have to tell you that for probably 5 years straight, every weekend when my dad would take me to the video store and be like, what do you want to rent? It was Goonies.
Aw,
for 5 years straight. So Martha Plimpton,
God bless you.
Sean Astin, Josh Brolin, a.k.a.
cast.
Thanos. I mean, what was it like working on that film and in particular that scene, like you're all wet and, tell us about it.
Well, I like being all wet on the set, I must admit. It was fun. I mean, that was really, I'm not joking. I'm a cancer, some water baby.
I'm a answer it too. Yeah, we're the best.
I know, right? I agree. Anyway, so, the thing about it is, like, I would love the waterfalls and the water slides and just, like, swimming pools and, have you put on wetsuits under your clothes. And I'm like, I don't want a wetsuit. I want to just feel it.
Do it.
I love it.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that part of it a lot.
Yeah. Goonies never say die.
You got it. And we never will. But
Now
we will die eventually.
Well,
We just
yes,
won't
that's
talk about
inevitable.
it.
But the
Just don't
film will
talk
live
about it.
on.
The film will live on.
Yes. Why don't we take a deep dive into this timeless coming-of-age story that was released in 1986 but still means so much to so many people today. I think you know what I'm talking about. Stand by me.
Maybe he's dead.
He's not dead. He's still breathing, you idiot.
Well, I don't know. Hey. It's cool, you guys. Just fainted. 40? I never met anybody who fainted before.
Maybe he made a bad mistake and looked at your face.
So what can you tell us about working on this film?
Well, it was a great experience, of course. I mean, again, lifelong friends, Jerry and I still are very close.
Yes, he was here not that long ago.
Yeah. And, I'm very proud of him, what he's achieved.
Yes.
Obviously, River and I had already been friends, but we had a chance to really bond on this. And, it was a very tragic loss, considering how close we became.
Yeah. And he was on the brink of,
Well, he already was there. He'd already gotten a nomination for an Academy Award. So it was kind of just like, just think about what else he could have achieved in his lifetime, if he was here today. But that said, there was many great experiences on the set, many things that I enjoyed about it. Rob Reiner, working with him, we got along great.
Yeah.
Everybody I think really did. There was no negatives, Kiefer was very quiet,
Okay.
I feel like we got to know each other better on this Lost Boys than we did, Stand By Me. But,
right.
Overall, a very beautiful, pleasant experience.
Yeah, and what does it mean to you because I'm sure people still come up to you today and just like, that movie, it changed my life. We have a friend here that, for him, that was how he realized that he was gay, because he realized that he had a crush on River. So, like, what does it mean to you when you have people come up to you and say, that movie still to this day resonates with me and means something to me?
Well, look, I've been very fortunate to be a part of a list of historical kind of films like that, where everybody has their own favorite. They come up to me and say, oh, this one or that one. And I just am always honored that anybody remembers any work that I do. Really though, because you don't think of it that way, or at least you don't try to, but you go, I do my work, and I really, unfortunately, I guess, I don't have the same appreciation for the body of work that maybe others do.
Right. Because the mechanics of it and the,
For me, it's like it's what's next.
You're right.
I got to just keep thinking about doing something. Where's my Stand By Me of 2020?
Okay.
That's what I think
All
about.
right. Always, okay.
What's next?
Yeah.
And I know I've got to get through this work that I'm doing before I can get to that work, so I'm anxious to get there. But right now, I've got to complete the mission that I'm on, and I can't really do anything else first. So once the documentary's done, I do have a new album I'm working on, a box set. So once that's done, then I can kind of start thinking about what movies I want to do again, and that will be fun for me.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
I'm not quite there yet.
Well, it'll be fun for us as well, so we can't wait for that.
Thank you.
Now, why don't we put on some bandanas and head to a comic book shop in Santa Carla, circa 1987. You guessed it, it's Lost Boys.
You think we just work in a comic book store for our folks, huh?
Actually, I thought it was a bakery.
This is just our cover. We're dedicated to a higher purpose. We're fighters for truth, justice, and the American way.
So menacing. All right, what can you tell us about working on Lost Boys?
Well, what do you want to know?
I want to know everything. I want to know, any, how did you bond well with the cast? Because you said that you and Keith became closer on that film.
Well, closer, but still not close.
Still not close,
No.
okay.
We never really, I think him and Jason Patrick bonded very much on that.
Okay.
Because they were closer to the same age, so I feel like they became kind of brothers in the way that Corey and I became brothers.
Right.
And they're still very close today.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And was the overall experience, I mean, at that point, you'd done so many films. I mean, were you still enjoying the process? Or were
Yeah, well, I mean, by Gremlins, I'd already done so many films and work, you know what I mean? So I don't think I ever lose the love for my work, the passion for my work. I enjoy what I do very much. Lost Boys was a bit more of a challenge as far as the working hours and the intensity on the set, because I think at that point used to working on films that were more centric on kids, and I was working child labor hours and things like that, so it's a lot less of a workload. Even on Goonies, which was intense because it was 6 days a week, but there was still 7 kids.
Yeah.
So, you know, you weren't on the set all the time.
Yeah, you shared it a little bit more.
Yeah, but I mean, when you're working on, you know, now an adult schedule where everybody else on the film is an adult except for you and Corey, you know, it's just the two of us that, I think even Jameson was already like 17. But we were still very much, you know, 15-year-olds, you know, trying to figure it out. So it was very intense, a lot of intense yelling and, you know, stuff like that. And it was a rated R movie. And, you know, it was just a different vibe, I think. Yeah.
Well, one that people still love to this day.
It had its dark edges, and I think that's why it is The Lost Boys.
Yeah. Oh, I'm going to go home and watch all of these films tonight. Corey, thank you so much for indulging us and playing behind the scene and just for being so generous with your time.
Yes.
And we can't wait to see what's next for you. So good luck with the documentary and the album and everything else that is to come.
Oh, God bless you. Thank you.
I am Lyndsey Rodrigues, and that was your reality check. Welcome back. I am here with my buddy, housewife expert Dave Quinn from People.com, and it is time to check in with today's question of the day.
Let's see.
And the results are in, and it looks like 64% of you all want to see Heather Dubrow return to Real Housewives of Orange County. So, Dave,
all right.
What do you think? You want Heather or someone else?
Yes, bring her back. I want to see inside that mansion. She built that whole house and then left the show before we ever got to see it.
Oh, well then, Dubrow, get on it.
Come on.
All right, well, make sure you check out our question of the day. We post that noon, Mondays through Thursdays on Twitter @People. We always want to hear from you guys, so make sure you're part of the conversation. Right now, I want to say a big thank you to this lovely man right here, Dave. Thank you for being with me here today.
My pleasure.
It is always a pleasure. And also, Alexis, thanks for joining us via Skype. Make sure you are following @People on Twitter so you can catch the latest episode of Reality Check that streams Monday through Thursday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. Now, look, I am going to leave you today with a reality moment from housewife history, and I'm going to give you a clue as to what it is.
What are you talking about, Heather? This is not asthma going on here. This is more than asthma.
In this 2014 episode of The Real Housewives of New York, the cast convenes at Le Cirque for a dinner party where Aviva Drescher soon finds herself on the defensive. When the cast starts to question the truth behind some of her recent medical conditions, Aviva quickly goes on the offensive, throwing her latest x-rays on the table for all to see.
Take this off.
But Heather Thompson isn't buying it.
You say that you have never lied to any of us at the table. I find that laughable.
So Aviva ups the ante, claiming she's 100% genuine. Well, maybe 99%.
Let me tell you something, Heather. The only thing.
Keep it together, Aviva.
The only thing that is artificial or fake about me. This.
Safe to say, Aviva will always have a leg up on her fellow housewives, which is why this is one of the greatest moments in reality history.
They say this is the last straw. I mean, this is the last leg.